In these three plays, Creon is the only character, apart from the chorus, who spends more time on stage. He cannot be disregarded as just the bureaucratic fool he occasionally appears to be, since his presence is so persistent and his comments are so important to many scenes of the plays. Instead, he stands for the very real authority of human law and the need for a stable, orderly community. In Oedipus the King, Creon is first introduced as being distinct from the Theban populace. He informs Oedipus that he has news from the oracle and advises him to hear it inside. In stark contrast to Oedipus, who advises him to speak out in front of everyone, Creon exudes the discreet, businesslike attitude of a politician. While Oedipus demands to hear Creon's news in public and increases his influence as a politician by promoting open rhetoric, Creon is a master of deception. Even when Jocasta begs and implores him not to, Oedipus is adamant about stating what he means and hearing the truth, while Creon is content to fudge the truth and use ambiguity. Creon asserts in lines 651-690 that he has no wish to overthrow Oedipus as king because he, Jocasta, and Oedipus have equal authority over the realm and Oedipus is only the king in the title. This argument might appear compelling in part because Oedipus has just ordered Creon's exile, which makes us predisposed to be sympathetic toward Creon at this point in the play. Creon sounds like the voice of reason in reaction to Oedipus's irrational arrogance. The yearning for the kingly title is first shown in the closing scene of Oedipus the King, when Creon's brief lines reveal his haste to banish Oedipus and keep him apart from his children. In Oedipus at Colonus, where he once again seeks something from Oedipus, Creon is at his most deceitful. His cowardly effort to kidnap Antigone and Ismene makes his honey-tongued words to Oedipus and Theseus even more repulsive. We finally get to witness Creon at ease in his position of authority in Antigone. Like their father, Eteocles and Polynices have passed away, and Creon now wields the same absolute power that Oedipus once had. Naturally, once Creon possesses the stability and power that Oedipus possessed, he starts to repeat Oedipus's errors. For instance, Creon criticizes Tiresias, 1144-1180, clearly repeating Oedipus in Oedipus the King, 366-507. Of course, Creon's contrite sobs in Antigone's last sentences mirror Oedipus's after Oedipus the King. What might be said most favorably about Creon is that he also starts to sound like Antigone in his closing sentences, waiting for whatever fresh catastrophe fate will deliver him. Despite his protests that he is nothing and no one, it is ultimately his suffering that gives him the appearance of being human. Once Tiresias has left, Creon enters and gets into a fight with Oedipus. Oedipus is furious when he sees Creon and tells him how he dared to approach him after plotting against his life with Tiresias and attempting to steal his throne. Since Creon must have had help from someone in the city, he has learned of Creon's conspiracy. Creon seeks to explain himself and refutes the accusation made against him. According to Oedipus, Creon's advice is why he sent for Tiresias. Tiresias has now charged Oedipus with killing Laius. This demonstrates that Creon and Tiresias conspired closely. He claims that Creon encouraged Tiresias to file a ridiculous accusation against him. Creon is labeled a traitor by Oedipus. Creon defends himself throughout his speech. He claims that he has never had the ambition to rule Thebes. Kingship merely instills dread and sleepless nights in a man's psyche. He has had a significant impact on society due to his close relationship with Oedipus. He will not want to become the king and accept a life of enormous responsibility and frequent worry because his position is secure. He wouldn't have reported the facts he learned from the Delphic oracle honestly if he had been a traitor. It is utterly unfair of Oedipus to cast aside a devoted ally like Creon. The chorus backs up Creon's claim, but Oedipus still doesn't appear to be inclined to listen to the chorus either. In response to the chorus' advice not to make snap decisions, Oedipus asserts that he is not snappish but that he must act quickly to stave off an enemy onslaught. Oedipus is asked by Creon if he wishes to be exiled. As a traitor, Oedipus responds that he intends to put him to death. Some would argue that Oedipus received a harsher punishment than Creon. On the other hand, some would argue that Creon received the harsher penalty of the two. Oedipus was originally a prince of Thebes when his story began. Nobody knows how to stop the plague that has engulfed the city and is killing its residents. The god Apollo said that Laius, who ruled Thebes before Oedipus, was murdered. Creon then shares what he has learned from Apollo. To put a stop to the disease, he must perish. Oedipus meets the blind prophet Tiresias and implores him to identify Laius's killer. Tiresias responds that he knows the murderer's name but declines to reveal it to him. After accusing Tiresias of the murder, Oedipus is informed by Tiresias that Oedipus committed the crime. Oedipus has received word from a messenger that his father, Polybus, has passed away and that he will now rule Thebes. Oedipus is certain that the prophecy that he will kill his father is untrue because Polybus died of natural causes. However, Oedipus still fears the portion of the prophecy that claimed he would sleep with his mother is accurate, which after all he was and had 4 children with her. Mother and wife Jocasta committed suicide and died. Jocasta was hanging from a noose when he broke through the bedroom door. Then, he used the gold pins holding her garments together to stab out his eyes. Crying because, after discovering the truth, he could not bear to look at the world. Oedipus was exiled from the city he once governed because he was now blind and aware of the truth about his past. Creon's story began with him raising his cousin's kids. Oedipus's oldest son, Polynices, was expected to succeed him as king, but that did not happen. The brothers fought each other for control of Thebes, and now they are dead. Creon is currently acting as temporary king following the deaths of Oedipus' 2 sons at the hands of one another. Creon's recent decree that anyone attempting to bury or mourn Polynices shall be executed is disregarded by Antigone. Antigone, who is aware of their limited options, adamantly declares she will bury Polynices and begs Ismene for assistance. Ismene claims that the king loved her brother, but she does not want to break the new law and risk being put to death. Ismene's arguments were rejected by Antigone, who declared that she would only obey the higher power's laws and die for them. Finally breaking the sensational news to the king, a guard arrives with a message. The body of Polynices has been properly buried, although no one is aware of who did it. Siren quickly realizes that the sister of the Polynices had given him a decent funeral. Antigone was sentenced by Creon to a horrible death that involved being buried alive in a tomb, so that neither he nor the people of Thebes would have any of her blood on their hands when she passes away. He plans to provide her with just enough food and drink. Her confinement in a tomb serves as a metaphor for the fact that she feels and is loyal to a higher power. Her confinement also serves as a metaphor for Creon's lack of morality and his betrayal of the greater authority. So this is the end of our video. Do you feel it helpful? Post your valuable response in our comments section below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.